Hello everyone, in this video, let me discuss to you the topic all about stocks. So let's begin. So we have here stock. So stock is a security that gives the holder ownership of a portion of a company and the right to receive portion of the company's income that might be distributed. First of all, we will be discussing or we will define what is security in business. When we say security, it is simply a financial instrument, typically any financial asset that can be traded. So therefore, stock is one of the security. So a stock or stocks involves assets of a specific company or corporation that can be traded. When I say traded, it involves buying and selling, wherein you can sell the product or the stock or the asset, or and then you can also buy the asset or the product of a specific company or corporation. Okay, so now for us to visually illustrate the meaning or the definition of stock, I have here a sample. For example, I have here a big circle. So it's a company X total assets. So this assets is comprised of 100 shares. And then you want to buy specific share or you want to buy stock. So, for example, you are buying 5% of the stocks or the shares. So, 5% ang binili mo. So, therefore, ang natitira sa company is 95%. So, the 5%, so that is equal to 5 shares. Since the total shares of a company is 100 and that is 5. 5 divided by 100 is 5%. So, 5 shares, that is 5%. So, ito yung pagmamayari mo sa company na ito. So, when you buy specific shares or stocks from a company or corporation, ang tawag sa iyo ay stockholder or shareholder, na kung saan ikaw ay magiging owner, one of the owners of the said company. And then, bibigyan kanila ng certificate. Okay? Katunayan na ikaw ay talagang may pagmamayari sa company nila. Okay, and then let's proceed to the definitions, of terms that will be tackled in this lesson. First, we have dividend. So, it is only the share in the company's profit. Kung magkano yung kikitain ng company, may portion doon na mapupunta sa iyo, and that is what we call dividend. Next, we have here dividend per share. It is simply the ratio of dividends to the number of shares. For example, the dividends of the company is 100,000, and then ang number of shares is 100. Okay? So you're gonna have to divide 100,000 divided by 100, and that is 1,000 per share. That is dividend per share. Hinahati-hati siya. Okay? It is fairly distributed to each shareholders. Next, we have stock market. It's a place where stocks can be bought or sold. The stock market in the Philippines is governed by the Philippine Stock Exchange, that is PSE. So, kung meron tayong tinatawag na supermarket, meron din tinatawag na stock market. The stock market, it is usually in an online platform. Online talaga yan. Okay. Next. Now, we have two types of stock or stocks. The first one is common stock, and the second one is preferred stock. So, let's begin with their similarities. First, we have here equity. When we say equity, it is the amount of money na mapupunta sa isang shareholder na maibabalik or ma-return sa'yo if ever na niliquidate na lahat ng corporation ng kanilang sales or what na yon, yung total sales nila, sinabtract na doon ang kanilang mga utang-utang, yung natira na lang na pera, yun ang i-divide. Okay? Doon i-base ko magkano yung maibabalik sa isang investor, yung isang stockholder or shareholder. Then we can also have here both of the two types of stocks earn dividends. Either ang kinuha mo ay common or preferred, mag-earn ka pa rin ng dividends. Okay? Then perpetually held, ibig sabihin, constant siya guys. Hanggat hindi mo wini-withdraw yung pagiging stockholder mo doon, part ka pa rin ng company and then kikita ka pa rin doon. And then we have here liquid assets. So kung saan yung assets na binili mo, kikita yung pwede yung maibenta. Okay? Pwede yung bilhin at kung saan kikita ka. So, same yung dalawang yan. Ang kaibahan lang niya, when we talk about common stock, you have the voting rights. For example, mag-elect sila ng mga board members, 'di ba? Mga ganon, kasama ka doon sa pagboboto. And then you can also be part sa mga meeting na kung saan tatalakayin kung ano yung status ng company. Whereas in preferred stock, you don't have the voting rights. Wala kang voting rights. Okay? Then, in common stock, the dividend payments fluctuate. Kasi kung tataas ang kita ng company, ng corporation, tataas din ang dividend mo. Kung mababa naman, mababa din ang makukuha mo. Unlike in preferred stock, dividend payments are fixed. Kung ito ay 100 a month, 100 din a month. Fixed siya. Naka-indicate na yan sa certificate. Naka-fix na yung makukuha mong dividend kung kailan mo gusto. Is it monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually? Okay, so these are the differences and the similarities between common stocks and preferred stocks. Okay, let's proceed to the other terminologies. Okay, next, we have here the market value. It is simply the current price of a stock at which it can be sold. For example, sa ngayon, namili ka ng stock sa isang specific company. So, kada araw kasi kada oras, from time to time, nagka-fluctuate, nagbabago ang value ang market value ng stock. That's the market value, it's the current price sa ngayon. At the current time, that is the market value. Next, we have the stock yield ratio. It is simply the ratio of the annual dividend per share. Ito yon, yung makakuhang dividendo ng lahat ng share, kada share sa isang taon, and the market value per share, also called the current stock yield. Ayan siya. That is a stock yield ratio. The next we have here the par value. It's the per share amount as stated on the company's certificate. Kung magkano ang price ng kada share na naka-indicate doon sa certificate, magkano mo siya binili noon. Unlike market value, it is determined by the company and remains stable over time. Stable tong par value kasi naka-indicate yan doon sa certificate mo. Unlike market value, nagbabago siya. Okay, nagbabago siya from time to time. Halimbawa, this year, ito yung market value na sa stock na yon. Next year, iba naman. Either tumaas or bumaba ang kanilang market value. Okay? Now, here is an example of our certificate of stock. So, I just got this certificate from an online platform. Ito yung ating reference. So, certificate ng stock, makikita dito, on the left side, on the upper left, dapat naka-indicate dito ang certificate number. On the upper right, nandoon ang number of shares, kung magkano ang binili mong shares. Okay? And then here, sa gitna sa taas, we have the company name and then the address of the company. Then this certifies that the name of the shareholder or stockholder, name mo, is entitled to the number of shares, nakalagay dyan, of the par value of, ayan, magkano yon, the value of each share, that is the par value, naka-indicate dapat dito. Each of the type of stock, either common or preferred stock of the company name, ito, lagay ang company name, transferable in person or by attorney only in the books of the company and upon the surrender of this certificate in witness thereof, the company name has caused the certificate to be. And then we have here the two signatures. So, here, pwede ito yung president ng company, dito secretary, hindi lang naka-indicate dito. Either the CEO, the chief executive officer, and then the assistant or the secretary or yung pangalawa sa kanya. So, this is the certificate of stock. So, yun ang dapat nakalagay sa loob ng certificate. Okay. So, now, let's work on some examples. So, we have here, a certain financial institution declared a 2 million pesos dividend for a common stocks. If there are total of 25,000 shares of common stock, how much is the dividend per share? Okay, dividend per share. So what are the given? So right now, we're gonna have to write first the given. We have the total dividend, 2 million, total shares, 25,000. So a while ago, we defined dividend per share as the ratio of the total dividend versus the total shares. I-divide lang natin tong dalawang ito. Okay, so we have total dividend divided by total shares. Kasi para maging equally divided ang dividend sa kada share. Ayun yun. And then, substitute natin ang given. So we have here 2 million divided by 25,000. So when we divide the 2, that is equal to 80 pesos. Then, lastly, we're gonna have to write the conclusion. Therefore, the dividend per share is 80 pesos. So, ganito lang siya kasimple. Okay, let's proceed to example number 2. A certain corporation declared a 10% dividend on a stock with a par value of 850 pesos. Miss Consuelo owns 560 shares. How much is the dividend she received? So, magkano ang marireceive niyang dividend? Ito. So, lagay natin ang given dividend percentage is 10%, that is equal to 0.10 or 0.1. Par value 850, number of shares 560. So, para makuha natin kung magkano yung receive na dividend ni Miss Consuelo, so ang kailangan gawin natin is we're gonna have to multiply all of this. The formula is dividend rate times the par value times the number of shares. For us to come up to the value of the dividend that Miss Consuelo will be receiving. So, input all the given values. Then, by multiplication, the answer is the dividend is 47,600. Then, lastly, we're going to have to include the conclusion. Therefore, the dividend is 47,600 pesos. Ito yung marireceive ni Miss Consuelo. Either it's annually, semi-annually, or annually. Commonly class, yung stocks, yung dividend niya is per year siya binibigay. So, 47,600 ang marireceive niya. Next example. Example number 3. So, we have here, company ABC with a current market value of 50 pesos gave a dividend of 15 pesos per share for its common stock. Company DEF, on the other hand, with a current market value of 95 pesos gave a dividend of 9 pesos per share. So now, gonna have to use the stock yield ratio to measure how much dividends shareholders are getting in relation to the amount invested. Okay. So, latag natin ang given. So, for company ABC, ito yung given. For company DEF, ito naman ang given niya. So, in this case, since we're talking about stock yield ratio, so the formula is, start tayo sa company ABC, the formula is equal to dividend per share divided by the market value. Then input natin yung given values. So, for the dividend per share, we have 15 pesos. For the market value, we have 50 pesos. Then, 15 divided by 50, that is equal to 0.3 or equal to 30%. Ito na yung stock yield ratio ng company ABC. So, for company DEF, we'll be using the same formula. So, then input the given values. So, we have here 9 pesos as the dividend per share and then 95 pesos for the market value. So, 9 divided by 95, that is 0.09 and that is also equal to 9%. Then, mag-a-analyze tayo dito. So, anong magiging conclusion natin? So, that is, company ABC has a higher stock yield ratio than company DEF. Why? Kasi yung ABC 30%, yung DEF is 9%. Diba? Mas mataas to. Thus, each peso will earn you more if you invest in company ABC than in company DEF. Kasi kikita ka, there's a possibility, kikita ka ng 30% annually. Diba? Sa lahat kasi ito ng stockholders, 30% ang stock yield ratio nila. And then to company DEF, 9% lang. Diba? So, it's better to invest on company A, B, C. Okay, next. Example number 4. We have here, consider a preferred stock with a par value of 4,320 pesos per share and a 12% dividend rate paid annually. If the required annual rate of return is 9.5%, what must be the price per share of the stock? So, latag natin ang given. Par value, annual preferred dividend rate, that is 12%, equals 0.12. Required rate of return is 9.5% or 0.095. In this case, hinahanap natin ang price per share ng stock kasi given yung required annual rate, may tinatawag tayong required annual rate of return. Rate of return. Okay, yung 12% dito, ito yung preferred dividend rate mo. Kaya ang problem na to, pinag-usapan ay preferred stock kasi meron kang preferred na annual dividend rate. Okay, in this case, we will be using this formula. V sub P is equal to P times D sub P all over K sub P, wherein yung V sub P is the value or the price per share of preferred stock. Ito yan. The capital letter P is the par value. Ang par value, that is the amount per share indicated on the certificate of the company given to specific stockholder, to each stockholder. Then D sub P, annual preferred dividend rate. K sub P, required rate of return. Then, upon knowing the definition of each variables in our formula, we will now input the given values. So, P, that is 4,320 times the annual preferred dividend rate, D sub P, that is 12%, that is 0.12, and then K sub P, that is 0.095. Then, multiply the numerator, the values on the numerator, multiply natin yung dalawa, and then divide natin sa denominator. And the result is 5,456 pesos and 84 centavos. So, ito na yung price per share ng stock. So, from 4,320, tumaas siya. Naging 5,456 pesos and 84 centavos. So, therefore, the price per share of the stock is 5,456 pesos and 84 centavos. So, here it ends the discussion of stocks. So, ito na yung mga possible problems na may encounter nyo in this lesson. So, I hope you will learn something from me.